Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're basically stepping into a high-tech command center to tackle a critical mission briefing for the digital age. We're operating in this wild landscape where the velocity of change is just unprecedented. What that means is, all those legacy business rules, yeah, they're officially obsolete. So, to win this entirely new game, we need a fresh tactical blueprint for digital survival.
So, here's our system override sequence for today. We're going to run through 5 key phases. Welcome to the VUCA world, the digital transformation trap, the tactical blueprint, mastering two-speed execution, and finally, learning from digital natives. Let's get right to it.
First things first, we've got to establish the environment we're actually operating in by defining VUCA. That's volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And if you're in the thick of it, you know this isn't just some corporate buzzword. We're navigating massive technology disruption, huge data explosions, and shrinking product cycles. It's like the global landscape is constantly shifting right underneath our feet.
The stakes here are absolutely massive. Incremental thinking? Yeah, that just doesn't cut it anymore. It's practically a death sentence. Because if you don't aggressively disrupt yourself, someone else is going to come along and gladly cannibalize your market share. Think about all those legacy retail giants who thought just tossing up a basic website was enough to survive e-commerce. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. If you aren't completely reimagining your models, you are already falling behind.
All right, moving right along to phase 2, the digital transformation trap, or what I like to call a massive intelligence failure. You know, most enterprises have tried some kind of digital transformation by now. Think about your own company for a second. We really have to ask ourselves, why do these huge, expensive efforts almost always fall short of expectations? The budget is definitely there, the intent is there, but the actual real-world impact, completely missing in action.
Well, the intelligence failure lies exactly right here. Companies are falling into this massive trap of applying old-world industrial infrastructure to new-world digital problems. They just haven't recognized how fundamentally the rules have changed. You absolutely cannot take a legacy business model and successfully map it onto today's volatile landscape. If you apply an old-world formula to a new-world situation, your whole system is going to crash.
So to map our way out of this trap, we need to analyze our operational reality across 3 distinct tactical levels. First, you've got the broad implications of this VUCA world on your overall business model. Second, how you're actually executing digital transformation on the ground. And third, the specific, rapidly evolving technologies themselves. If you miss even one of these levels, the whole blueprint completely falls apart.
Okay, let's move into section 3 and actually initiate that system override, the tactical blueprint.
Here is directive number 1. Transformation absolutely has to be end-to-end. Technology, that's really just the vehicle. I mean, missions fail every day because a company buys some million-dollar AI software, but their org structure still requires 3 weeks and 4 manager approvals just to turn the thing on. You have to simultaneously upgrade your strategy, your structure, your processes, and your talent. If the team resists, the mission fails. It's that simple.
Moving to directive 2, blurred boundaries. The pace of change right now is so extreme that you literally cannot afford to separate your high-level strategy from your boots-on-the-ground execution. Those traditional, comfortable lines between the what we are doing and the how we're doing it, they are completely dissolving. In today's environment, strategy and execution are essentially the exact same thing.
And that leads us to a fundamental operational shift. We've got to abandon those slow, sequential planning cycles for rapid, iterative loops. You set your strategy, execute immediately, gather feedback, and adapt. Boom, boom, boom. You do not build a massive 5-year plan, cross your fingers, and just pray the global network hasn't changed. You execute, you learn, and you pivot in real time.
Which brings us perfectly into section 4, mastering two-speed execution. This is really about the duality of digital success.
Now, think about the stark contrast we need here. The digital age absolutely demands that you hyper-focus on short-term execution and relentless experimentation. Speed is quite literally everything. But at the exact same time, you cannot abandon your big, bold, long-term bets. You have to be agile enough to pivot your tactics daily while still aiming for that massive moonshot 5 years down the road. And honestly, this is exactly why it's called two-speed execution. If you get bogged down in purely incremental, short-term thinking, you lose. But if you only dream big and fail to execute today, yeah, you also lose. You cannot let the urgent extinguish the important. Managing this highly complex duality across every level of your organization is 100% non-negotiable if you want to survive.
Finally, let's hit Section 5, learning from digital natives and decrypting the success of the pioneers. To truly master this shifting landscape, we have to gather intelligence from the companies that were actually born natively into this VUCA environment. We're talking giants like Google, Amazon, and Apple. They didn't just take old, clunky processes and digitize them. No way. They built their organizations from the ground up to operate in those rapid iterative loops and master that two-speed execution. They treat rapid change as a feature, not a bug. But hey, here is the genuinely good news. Legacy enterprises are not doomed to failure. There is a lot of hope out there, provided you are willing to ruthlessly evaluate your own operating models. By taking these native principles and adapting them to your own deep industry expertise, you can actually outmaneuver the disruptors. So, I want to leave you with one absolutely critical imperative to take back to your leadership team. Look around your own command center and decide exactly which side of the digital divide you're going to stand on. Are you operating like an agile digital native, ready to adapt and thrive? Or are you clinging to old world formulas, just waiting to be cannibalized like a legacy dinosaur? The rules have changed. It is time to override the system. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and stay adaptable.